You keep setting boundaries and they're still not working. People still push, you still feel guilty, and you're starting to wonder if you're just bad at this. I've seen this pattern so many times. Let me show you what's actually happening. Because most of the time, it's not that the boundaries don't work, it's usually something in the way that you're doing them that causes the cycle to stay alive. Here's the pattern. You say, I don't like that. That bothers me. Can you please not do that? That's not a boundary, that's information. Boundaries don't just tell people how you feel, they tell people what you will do if the behavior continues. So instead of saying, I don't like when you talk to me like that, say, if you continue speaking to me that way, I'm going to have to end the conversation. Notice the difference? You're not controlling them, you're controlling your response. Boundaries don't work when they're just words, they work when they change behavior, and that starts with yours. Now, let's say you do state it clearly. Here's what usually happens next. You set a boundary, people test it, you bend, and you say something like, it's fine, it's not that serious, never mind, I don't want to argue. And the first time you don't follow through on your boundary, it becomes a suggestion. People respond to patterns, not speeches. So, instead of letting it slide just one more time or just one time, you do what you said you was going to do. You end the conversation, you step back, you leave the room, you remove access. Boundaries work when they're not just words. They work when they change behavior, and consistency is key to make it real. Now, this next one is subtle, but this is where a lot of people get stuck. You finally said the boundary, but then you immediately soften it. You say, I'm sorry. I don't want you to be mad. I didn't mean it that way. I hope you're not upset. If you're still trying to make them comfortable with your limit, your boundary isn't fully protecting you. So instead of, are you mad? You sit in the discomfort. You let them process. You let them feel how they feel, because discomfort doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means something shifted. Boundaries don't work when they're just words, they work when they change behavior. And then it's this one. And this one is all about clarity. Sometimes you say something is a boundary when really it's a deal breaker and you're hoping they'll change. So you say things like, maybe it'll be different next time. Maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe I'm just overreacting. But when something keeps violating your values and you keep negotiating it, you'll feel resentful every time. A boundary says, if this continues, I'll adjust. A non negotiable says, if this continues, I'll need to remove myself from this dynamic. That clarity matters because boundaries don't work when they're just words. They work when they change behavior. If your boundaries aren't working, it's not because you're weak, it's not because you're dramatic, it's not because you're bad at this. It's either one of three things. You didn't attach action, you weren't consistent, or you're still trying to manage their reaction. And once you stop doing that, you'll see a shift. Not because they suddenly respect you, but because you do. Boundaries don't work when they're just words. They work when they change behavior. And that behavior starts with yours. If you want help setting boundaries that actually stick, my boundary intensive link is below.